What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Nick Gets Gnarly. My name is Nick. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different on this channel. Today, well, let me give you a little history. So what's been going on is for the last couple of months, off and on, I haven't had a lot of time, but I've been trying to teach myself how to ride BMX track. That's my DK. I bought that thing a couple months ago. I love it. I'm having a blast on it, but I'm just not comfortable on it yet. So what I've been doing is I've been going to Tampa BMX and riding their track and doing a couple of clinics with some buddies of mine. Jeremy Smith and Will Grant. Those dudes are awesome. Check them out here. So often, as professional BMX riders do, these guys were going to races out of state. And so they can't always do clinics on the weekends that I'm available. So what I told them the last time they went on a race was, I said, hey listen, do me a favor and give me some homework. And they said, work on your manuals. If you don't know what a manual is, that's where you basically pick up the front end of your bike and ride while balancing on your back tire, but I'm just not very good at it. So I spent a couple of days trying to learn how to do it, and I thought that maybe there was a better way for me to try to learn how to get comfortable doing that and maybe like speed up the process a little bit. So I decided that I would go to the one place that I go to learn everything these days, which is YouTube. And YouTube came up with a ton on how to build a manual machine. And the manual machine is basically this thing that holds your bike in place and allows you to pick up the front end of your bike without falling over. And you learn how to do it in a stationary position instead of while moving. I figured this is a great place for me to start. Plus it helps me work on that core strength and balance, and I can do it here, I can move it into the house, I can basically just do it wherever I want to, and I don't have to worry about rain, weather, anything else like that at all. So that's what I'm gonna do. Check it out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what I think you're gonna need for this project. I checked out a couple of different tutorials on how to make this, and I basically put together what I figured were the best parts of these builds to see if I couldn't create my own. So here's what I got. First of all, you're gonna need your bike. Not that one, this one. You're gonna want the one that you ride on a regular basis because you're going to build this to fit your specific back wheel, not just some random specs. So make sure you get the bike. Now, what I got was wood, right? So I got 2 of these 2x4x8s from Lowe's. Then I went and got 2 of these 2x6x8s. The 2x6s are gonna act as the base. The 2x4s we're gonna cut to make sure that we make them basically work as the framing for the rest of this structure. Okay, when it comes to tools, if you don't have a circular saw, especially if you're a little person, please don't use a circular saw. Get yourself a handsaw and get your parents out there. You're also going to wanna get a tape measure, a drill. That's a stud finder, we don't need that. Yep, it works. I got a pencil, some construction screws, a speed square. This basically makes sure I'm using right angles here or cutting perfect 45s. I decided to get a metal bracket that I'm gonna put on the back of this thing just to give it a little extra support, as well as these T-brackets that'll go on the outside, just again to keep it from coming apart. And these eye hooks we'll talk about a little bit later. All right, so you've seen everything we need. Let's just get it started. First, we're gonna start with the base. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take your pencil and put your bike on top of that base so that you can actually measure out exactly where the back of your tire is, because that's gonna be the first measurement we need to make. It's gonna look like this. This bike is not as big as a mountain bike would be, and therefore I don't have to use this entire plank. So what I'm gonna do is kind of let this front tire hang off about 2 to 3 inches probably. And then I'm gonna take my right angle here and I'm just gonna stick it up against the back tire and then mark where that meets the plank, and that'll be where we have to make our first angle. Once I've got that marked, what I need to do is go ahead and make a measurement, put the bike back on the board and measure to about just a little over halfway up the back of that tire. We're gonna put a back brace against that tire, but we don't want it to go too high because if you're starting the manual, you're gonna hit your butt. So you don't want that to happen. So we're gonna put it about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way above that tire. And then we're gonna go ahead and mark that on the other board and then cut that piece to be our kind of our back brace. So I'm looking at about 15 inches up the back of this tire. We're gonna go ahead and cut the second board to 15 inches, make a straight cut across, and that'll be our brace. We'll go ahead and screw that bad boy in and then see what we can do from there. if you're using sharp stuff like saws and things like that, it's probably a good idea to wear protection. Just wear it. So now we're just going to take 3 of these construction screws and zip them straight into the bottom of this bed. So for this next bit, it's a little bit weird. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2x4s and basically make something to trap my wheel in here so that it stays in there nice and snug when I put my bike in. So that's what this looks like. What I'm trying to do is make sure I get the perfect measurement for right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put another block of 2x4 here, and of course another piece on this side, so it basically wedges it in. But what I want to do is make sure that I get this measurement just right. So now that I've got these things evened out, all I'm going to do is take a couple screws, zip them into the back, make sure that this thing is locked down nice and tight. Once I've got them locked into the back, I'll flip it over, take the bike out, flip it over, and then put a couple screws up into the bottom of this thing. Make sure these guys aren't going anywhere. So that's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and check the bike out in and now and see how that works out. All right, so it's looking pretty good. It's not a lot of work. I'm only sweating because it's Florida out here, and I've got the garage door open, and there's nothing you can do. It's just hot here. So I'm sweating because it's Florida, not because this is a lot of hard work. It's actually a lot of fun. You should do this, build this, or come over and have me build it. 100 bucks. 100 bucks? I'll do it for 100 bucks. 120 bucks, parts and labor, everything included. 120 bucks. 140 bucks. All right, I would say that works. That's awesome. So now we've just got to do some stuff to make sure it's supported and braced well so that it doesn't fall apart when I try to put my body weight into this bike while trying to manual. So now we're going to put some braces on here in the corners, cut a couple of 45s right there. I also want to put another little block right there in the front to finish up the wheel well. Just make sure everything locks in really good. And then we just have to worry about bracing it on the back side so it doesn't roll over when I get into it. So let's go do that. Looks good. Stand straight. Everything looks awesome. So you can see here, this is just super long. I don't need all this extra work right here. So I'm thinking maybe I just cut it to the same length as this. Take that piece out of there. I'll use the back ends as part of the feet. Cut a chunk off of that guy. You know, I figure like at this rate, I could probably, with what I have left over, I could probably make another one for the BMX, or make another one for my mountain bike. Yeah. How funny is this wide angle? Hey, look at all this stuff I've got going on here. Hey. So earlier I mentioned having a couple little extra touches I just wanted to add to this thing just to make sure it's extra supportive. I got these little T-brackets that come with their own screws, and I'm just gonna put one on each side and zip that in there just like that. And then I'm gonna take this little L bracket and just put it right up in the back, right in the middle, just like that. Just give it a little extra support. So I think what I'm gonna do is cut this guy into 2 pieces to make for the leg that's gonna go across, and then I'll just use what's left over of that 2x6 over here as the feet, and then it's just done. That's pretty easy. So the last decision I decided to make was, as far as these legs are concerned, this is too much. But I'm thinking maybe just take this 2x4x8, cut it in half to 4 feet, and then kind of double up the leg on it. Just show you. So now it's done, but the last little touch I want to put on it is this guy right here, and I'm actually going to put 2 of them on there so that I'm actually going to attach them both right here, right up by the front wheel on either side of that board. And the reason being is that I want to be able to take either a piece of rope or a bungee cord and actually loop it in the middle so that I don't fall off the back. Basically, it stops me from looping out where my front tire would, or where the back tire would normally shoot out underneath the bike. And instead, it's just gonna stop me from doing that. So I can kind of do it without having to like be concerned of falling off still, because that's of course what's holding me back in the first place. So all I'm gonna do is take each one of these and just go ahead and turn them and keep spinning them until they just kind of dig in here on either side. And then we've got 2 eye sockets where I can basically just lock in a piece of rope or something and make that work. So this is still going to take a little bit of practice, but I think that this is definitely going to make me more confident on just one wheel for sure. So I'm going to go practice. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, hit like and all that jazz, and put a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate it. As always, my name is Nick. This is Nick Gets Gnarly. Go do something gnarly. I will see you next time. Peace. Hey gang, what's up? It's Nick. Do me a favor before you go. If you're liking this channel, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. If you want, you can also hit that little bell to make sure that you get notified every time I put up a new video. It would also help if you hit the thumbs up if you like this specific video, and also add a comment in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Give me some tips. I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Nick Gets Gnarly. Go do something gnarly. We'll see you next time.